With the NFL draft coming in only a few days, I figured it would be the best time to talk about the biggest name in the NFL draft in Trevor Lawrence, and ask the question, is he the best quarterback in the draft?
Off play action, Lawrence down the seam, wants Rodgers, touchdown!
Trevor Lawrence is just one of those players that everyone knows is a star, but in a draft full of stars, there's a lot of competition, with players like Fields, Big Mac, Trey, and Zach, so it isn't as crazy as it would be any other year. But although a quarterback-packed draft, Trevor has always seemingly been the biggest name, whether it be in high school or in college, and because of that, people would be trying to find ways to downgrade him. Although you would think having him as the best would be popular, it seems like taking the underdog is a popular take until the underdog dominates and the cycle just goes on and on. I mean, look at guys like Mahomes and the Chiefs. When they went up against the Patriots, it seemed like every fan outside of New England was rooting for them. Although they lost that game, the following year after they beat the 49ers, a target was put on their back, and looking at last year's playoffs when they went up against Cleveland, people wanted them to lose, and although they won, you get the point. Anyways, people love to hate Trevor, and I'm just not for that. I think Trevor is legitimately the best quarterback in the draft. Although easily the most talented, I could easily see Trevor have difficulties early in his career, but ultimately put together one of the best resumes of any player in NFL history. Trevor could be easily the biggest bust of all time if he wasn't one of the most humblest, hardworking, and determined prospects in recent memory. Not only is Trevor just a great player, but he's an incredible teammate, making him an asset on and off the field, which means a lot more than you would think. I think the best way to go about this question is to go through all the most talented quarterbacks mentioned previously and see just how well Trevor matches up to each of them. Comparing Trevor and Trey is extremely tough as they played in completely different situations and have been in different systems. But anyways, let's do this.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
When watching Trey's game, he relies much more on the run than Trevor, and struggled a bit with his consistency in the passing game. And upon that, his lack of production against light competition is a bit worrisome. Trey might have gone up against much lighter competition than powerhouses like Alabama and Ohio State, but a previous NDSU star in Carson Wentz proves that it doesn't matter as much as you would think. But when looking at Trey's game, it isn't about the competition as much as it is the reliance on the run that is concerning. And not only that, but his passing pales in comparison to Trevor. The difference in mobility is too minute to put Trey above Trevor, and as a result, I have Trevor winning this one pretty easily. In my opinion, Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence have much similar playstyles than any of the other elite prospects in the draft. Both have excellent overall game, but struggle to maintain and put away games, with Zach unable to lead BYU over Coastal Carolina, and the same for Trevor with Alabama and Ohio State. Now, I don't want to bash Coastal Carolina, but comparing them to a team like Alabama is a stretch. It makes me question Zach's ability against the best of the best. Although a much easier team to go up against, it's important to take into account the talent around the two. And when you factor the team around them, the gap closes a bit, but not completely, but a bit. A big thing that I think separates the two is Trevor's big playability in the most insane circumstances. Now, I know that Zach can make plays like crazy, but no one can do what Trevor does like nothing. This comparison is one of the closest, but Trevor is a bit above Zach in my opinion and gets the win. It's funny that this matchup is not brought up nearly as much as Trevor and Justin or Zach, but the two are in very similar worlds at two of the biggest powerhouses in all of college football. Trevor might have much more starting experience over Mac, but honestly that doesn't mean that much at all. Mac and Trevor can both make insane plays with only a sliver of hope, and upon that are able to raise the talent around them, but play quite differently. While Mac is a more traditional, chill in the pocket and pick apart defensive style quarterback, Trevor is used in a variety of situations and can be an option, traditional, or truly whatever quarterback you want him to be. This is the main area that elevates Trevor, and is the equivalent of comparing guys like Peyton Manning to Mahomes. While Peyton Manning is really good, Mahomes is really good and can do practically everything. Comparing Mac to Peyton truly is a stretch, but introduces an interesting question, and that is whether or not Mac can produce without arguably the best team in college football history around him. Trevor seems like a much more adaptive player as he had success in all levels of football, and in my opinion that's what elevates him above Mac and gives him the win. The last time the two met, Justin ripped apart the Tigers in Trevor's last game in college football history. Although you would think that alone would give Justin the edge, Trevor didn't struggle as much as you would guess in that performance. And although I'd give Justin the edge in that game pretty easily, it's hard to do much when you're going up against a team that puts up 49 points. Although Justin outplayed Trevor heavily in the semifinal, if you look just before the college football playoff in the Big 12 championship, Justin struggled heavily to cap off an underwhelming year. Justin had a rather inconsistent junior season, and against teams like Indiana and Northwestern, players like Trey Sermon to carry the team to the win instead of my man Justin. On the other side, Trevor's much more consistent, and even in his worst games, he's still able to put up solid stats, which is really the main reason I have Trevor above Justin, as they both are mobile and have great accuracy. Trevor just edges the win over Justin with his consistent play, but this is one of the closest, and although a win, I wouldn't be surprised if Justin started off his career much better. Trevor Lawrence might be a talented player, but don't get me wrong, he is not light years above these super talented guys. Simply put, Trevor just has that it factor that separates the best from the elite talent. In my opinion, Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in the draft. He just has to prove it on the football field.
That's why if you don't have abs, no worry about it. They're going to try their own flea flicker, and this one's going to work for a touchdown!
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed, subscribe, like, and comment what videos you want next. But anyways, happy draft week, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. Peace out.